She did not expect you to stay silent this long because she thought she already knew how your heart worked. She thought she knew the version of you who would break first, the version who would check her stories at night, the version who would send one more message after promising himself he was done, the version who would ask, "Are we okay?" even after she made it obvious she was pulling away, the version who would over explain, over apologize, overthink, and keep trying to prove his value to someone who was no longer giving him peace. But this time, you did not go back. You did not chase. You did not beg. You did not send the long paragraph. You did not ask mutual friends about her. You did not post something just to get her attention. You stayed silent longer than she expected. And that silence is not destroying her in a cruel way. It is destroying the old certainty she had about you. It is destroying the belief that you would always be available. It is destroying the comfort of knowing she could pull away and still keep your attention. It is destroying the old pattern where she could go cold and you would do all the emotional work to warm things up again. But listen carefully, your silence is not meant to punish her. Your silence is meant to protect you. That is the part most men miss. They think silence is about making her regret, making her wonder, making her chase, making her feel the loss. But if your silence is only about her reaction, then she is still controlling you. You are still living inside her mind. You are still measuring your strength by whether she notices. Real silence is different. Real silence says, I am no longer available for the version of this connection that made me lose myself. That is where your power begins, because a man does not regain respect by chasing. He regains power by staying calm when everything inside him wants to react. He regains power by stepping back when his fear tells him to move closer. He regains power by controlling his emotions, rebuilding his life, and letting his actions speak louder than his anxiety. And when you stay silent long enough to actually rebuild, not just wait, she feels a different energy. At first, she may think you are just upset. She may think you are trying to make a point. She may think you are playing no contact like a game. She may think you will come back after a few days because you always did before. Maybe before she had reasons to believe that. When she pulled away, you chased. When she got cold, you got warmer. When she ignored you, you explained more. When she replied late, you watched the phone. When she gave less, you gave more. When she became unclear, you tried harder. You thought you were showing love, but often what you were showing was fear. Fear of losing her, fear of being replaced, fear of being forgotten, fear that if you stopped trying, the whole connection would disappear. But now you understand something that changes a man. If something only survives because you keep chasing it, it is not standing on mutual effort, it is standing on your fear. That truth hurts, but it also frees you because once you see it, you stop begging for basic effort. You stop treating crumbs like a meal. You stop mistaking anxiety for passion. You stop rewarding silence with desperation. You stop giving relationship level access to someone who is giving you confusion. That is not bitterness, that is maturity. And maturity is what she did not expect from you. She expected emotion. You gave distance, she expected panic. You gave discipline, she expected a paragraph. You gave silence, she expected the old version of you. But the old version did not show up. That is what creates the shift. A woman may not fully understand how much comfort your attention gave her until your attention is gone. She may not understand how much she counted on your emotional availability until you stop handing it over. She may not understand how much your chasing protected her from the feeling of losing you until you finally stop chasing. You cannot be missed if you refuse to become absent. That line matters. You cannot be missed if you keep showing up. You cannot be missed if she knows you are still watching. You cannot be missed if your energy is still orbiting around her life. You cannot be missed if every post, every story view, every little move is still secretly about her. Real absence means your attention comes back to you, and your attention is your power. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. If your attention is always on her silence, her mood, her profile, her possible return, her possible regret, then your energy is not building your future. It is feeding your wound. Take it back. Your body needs you. Your work needs you. Your sleep needs you. Your money needs you. Your discipline needs you. Your faith needs you. Your future needs you. Stop giving your strongest energy to someone who is giving you uncertainty. That is not hate, that is self respect. Now, the first thing she may feel when you stay silent this long is confusion because she expected the old pattern. She expected you to reach out. She expected you to check. She expected you to break. She expected one emotional night to make you type something you would regret in the morning, but you did not. And now she has to wonder, did he finally move on? Did he stop caring? Did I push him too far? Is he stronger than I thought? Did I lose access? Can I still pull him back if I send one message? But do not become addicted to imagining what she is thinking. That is another trap. Some men stay silent, but every day they are still mentally chasing. They ask, is she feeling it yet? Is she missing me yet? Is she checking my page? Is she regretting it? Is my silence hurting her? And while they ask those questions, their whole life is still about her. That is not freedom. That is emotional waiting. Real freedom is when your life starts mattering more than her reaction. Real freedom is when your workout is not for her to see. Real freedom is when your money is not for her regret. Real freedom is when your discipline is not a performance. Real freedom is when your peace is not waiting for her apology. Real freedom is when you can say, I hope she grows, but I am not sacrificing myself for confusion anymore. That is the kind of silence that changes you, not silence as a trick. Silence is self respect. Silence is discipline. Silence is the moment you finally stop handing your peace to someone else's mood. Now, understand something important. Silence is not easy. Anyone can say, just don't text her. But when it is midnight and your room is quiet, that is when the battle starts. During the day, you may feel strong, you work, you train, you stay busy, you tell yourself you are fine. But at night, the memories come back, her voice comes back, the old conversations come back, the warm version of her comes back, the version that made you feel wanted comes back, then the cold version comes back too, the distance, the silence, the mixed signals, the way she made you feel like you had to prove you mattered. And suddenly, your mind starts negotiating. Maybe I should check. Maybe I should send one message. Maybe she is waiting. Maybe she thinks I do not care. Maybe if I stay silent too long, she will forget me forever. But be honest, most of the time, you do not want a message because it is wise. You want a message because you want relief from uncertainty, relief from anxiety, relief from the pain of missing her, relief from the fear that she may be moving on, relief from not knowing if you still matter. But relief is not the same as self respect. A strong man tells himself the truth before he acts. He says, I want to do this because I want the pain to stop. Then he chooses discipline. He writes the message in his notes and does not send it. He puts the phone away. He walks. He trains. He prays if faith is part of his life. He sleeps. He lets the urge rise and fall without turning it into another mistake. Pain can be felt without being followed. That line matters. Pain can be felt without being followed. You can miss her and still not text. You can care and still not chase. You can feel rejected and still not beg. You can want answers and still not reopen the wound. That is emotional control. And emotional control is what makes your silence real. Because if she can send one message and pull you all the way back into panic, your silence was not strength, it was waiting. If one story post can ruin your whole day, your silence is not complete. If one hey can make you forget every standard you have not healed, you are still hungry. That is why this is not about proving anything to her. This is about proving something to yourself, proving you can stand without her attention, proving you can feel emotion without obeying it, proving you can remember her without chasing her, proving you can have a soft heart and still keep a strong boundary. That is real growth. Now, the second thing she may feel when you stay silent this long is curiosity because before, maybe she did not have to wonder about you. She knew you were there. She knew you cared. She knew that if she gave a small signal, you would probably respond. She knew that even when she was unclear, your heart was still available. But now she does not know. That uncertainty can make her curious. Not because you manipulated her, because you stopped being predictable in the old way. You stopped being emotionally available for low effort. You stopped chasing closure. You stopped giving long explanations. You stopped making her silence the boss of your life. And when a man stops behaving like his whole identity depends on one woman's attention, his energy changes. He becomes harder to read, not because he is playing games, because he is no longer emotionally leaking everywhere. That is rare. A lot of men cannot do this. They say they are done, then check. They say they are silent, then post indirectly. They say they do not care, then ask friends. They say they moved on, then reread old messages until their chest hurts. That is not silence, that is hidden chasing. Real silence has clean energy, no checking, no asking, no posting for reaction, no secret emotional performance, no standing in the background hoping she notices. Just you returning to your own life. That is what makes the silence powerful. Not the fact that you stopped talking, the fact that you stopped orbiting. There is a difference. When you stop talking but keep orbiting, she still owns your attention. When you stop orbiting, your attention returns to your mission. And a man with a mission is hard to control. A man with direction does not freeze his life because one woman became unsure. He has things to build, a body to strengthen, money to make, skills to sharpen, discipline to prove, faith to deepen, peace to protect, standards to live by. That kind of man is not waiting by the phone like his whole identity is trapped inside one notification. He is moving. And movement changes everything because when your life starts moving again, you stop feeling like a man waiting to be chosen. You start feeling like a man who has chosen himself. That is the energy she did not expect. Now, the third thing she may feel is discomfort because when you stop chasing, she no longer gets the same emotional access. She no longer gets your attention whenever she wants it. She no longer gets the comfort of knowing you are waiting. She no longer gets the safety of pulling away while still feeling your energy behind her. She no longer gets to go cold and still receive warmth. That can feel uncomfortable, but do not confuse her discomfort with love. This is important. A woman can feel uncomfortable losing your attention without being ready to love you properly. She can miss your presence without being ready for accountability. She can miss the way you cared without being ready to respect your boundaries. She can miss your emotional support without being ready to build a healthy connection. That is why you must stay grounded. If she reaches out, do not worship the return. A small message is not a full return. A hey is not accountability. A miss you is not change behavior. A story view is not love. A late night text is not proof that she is ready. A woman touching the door is not the same as a woman walking through it with clarity. Most men lose right here. They survive the silence. They start rebuilding. They finally feel a little stronger. Then her name appears on the phone, and the old man wakes up instantly. He replies too fast. He writes too much. He asks if she misses him. He tries to get certainty immediately. He turns one small message into a full emotional conversation. He acts like he has been waiting by the phone the whole time, and she feels it. She feels that he did not truly grow. He only became quiet. Do not be that man. If she reaches out, stay calm, not cold. Calm. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. If she says, I miss you, you can say, I hear you. What made you reach out? If she says, I've been thinking about us, you can say, I understand. What do you want to do with that? If she says, can we talk? You can say, we can talk, but I am not rushing back into anything. These are not games. They are calm boundaries. They invite clarity without begging. They show openness without desperation. They protect your peace without attacking her. A real return can handle patience. A fake return usually cannot. If she genuinely wants to reconnect, she will respect your pace. If she only wants emotional access, your boundaries may make her disappear again. Let that happen. You need truth more than temporary comfort because comfort can pull you back into the same cycle. Truth sets you free. Now, the fourth thing she may feel is the loss of the old version of you. This is deeper than missing your messages. She may realize the man who used to make things easy is no longer easy. The man who used to accept mixed signals is no longer accepting them. The man who used to chase clarity from confusion has stopped. The man who used to give full access after one soft message is moving slowly now. That can hit hard because it shows that something changed inside you. And real change is harder to reverse than silence. No contact can end with one message. But self respect does not end that easily. If you truly change, you do not go back just because she knocks. You do not become available for the same dynamic. You do not act like nothing happened. You do not open the whole door because she says the right words one time. You listen, you observe, you watch consistency because words are easy when someone feels your absence. Consistency is harder. Accountability is harder. Respecting your boundaries is harder. That is what you watch. The old version of you wanted relief. The new version of you wants truth. The old version wanted her back at any cost. The new version asks, is this good for my peace? That question makes you dangerous to old patterns, not dangerous to her. dangerous to the weak version of yourself, the version that accepted crumbs, the version that confused anxiety with love, the version that over explained to someone who already knew, the version that made her silence louder than your purpose, the version that forgot you had a life before her. Let that version die, not with anger, with discipline for the next 7 days. Do not message her first from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not reread old messages until your chest hurts. Do not send a soft message when what you really want is reassurance. Put that energy into training, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and rebuilding your identity. Train your body even when your mind is heavy. Clean your space even when your emotions feel messy. Fix your sleep because tired men make weak decisions. Eat properly because heartbreak drains your focus. Walk when anxiety hits. Brought what you want to say, but do not send it from panic. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This is not about pretending you do not care. It is about proving that her silence does not own you. Every time you do not chase, you rebuild self trust. Every time you do not check, you rebuild control. Every time you do not post for her reaction, you rebuild dignity. Every time you choose your routine while hurting, you become stronger. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. You said you would not chase, do not chase. You said you would not beg, do not beg. You said you would not abandon your standards, do not abandon them. That is how a man becomes solid, and a solid man is not easily pulled back into chaos. He does not fold because someone gives him a little attention. He does not collapse because someone becomes distant. He does not forget the lesson because someone sends a soft message. He does not become bitter, but he also does not become easy. He watches, he listens, he moves slowly, he lets actions prove what words claim. Now, the fifth thing she may feel is respect. This is not guaranteed, and you should not live for it. But over time, when a woman realizes you did not chase, did not beg, did not collapse, did not become bitter, did not turn into a weak man, did not make revenge your identity, she may respect the way you handled yourself. Because many people expect emotional reactions, they expect anger, they expect chasing. They expect begging, they expect indirect posts, they expect weakness disguised as love. But when you stay composed, it stands out. A man who can walk away from confusion without hatred is rare. A man who can love without begging is rare. A man who can stay calm when hurt is rare. A man who can rebuild his life instead of making heartbreak his identity is rare. That kind of man is hard to forget. But again, do not live for her respect. Live in a way that makes you respect yourself. That is more important because if you only feel strong when she notices your strength, you are still giving her the key. The real victory is when you can look at yourself and say, I handled that with dignity. You did not beg. You did not chase. You did not stalk. You did not compare. You did not turn bitter. You did not let one woman's distance define your worth. You felt the pain, but you did not let it lead you. That is self respect. Now, there may be moments when you wonder if staying silent this long is too much. Maybe you think, what if she thinks I do not care? Maybe you think, what if she is waiting for me? Maybe you think, what if I lose her forever? But ask yourself a harder question. If you have to lose yourself to keep her, what are you really keeping? If you have to chase to stay connected, is the connection healthy? If you have to beg for effort, is it love or fear? If you have to destroy your peace to keep her attention, is that worth it? A man must learn to love truth more than fantasy. Fantasy says one more message might fix it. Truth says one more weak message might reopen the wound. Fantasy says maybe she is waiting. Truth says if she values the connection, she can also show effort. Fantasy says if I stay silent, I might lose her. Truth says if I chase again, I might lose myself. And losing yourself is the greater danger. That is the truth a man needs. Now, if she never comes back, you still win if you become the man this silence is creating. This is the part many men avoid because they want the story to end with her regret. They want the message, they want the apology, they want proof that silence worked. But the highest proof is not her return. The highest proof is your peace. Can you sleep without her reply? Can you train without needing her to notice? Can you work without checking your phone every 10 minutes? Can you stop asking about her? Can you feel sadness without turning it into begging? Can you remember her without reopening the wound? Can you love deeply without losing your frame? That is success. Because a man who can do that is no longer easy to break. He is harder to manipulate, harder to pull into chaos, harder to make insecure, harder to turn into an option, harder to replace with temporary attention. That man is attractive because he is not desperate for attraction. He has direction. And direction is one of the most powerful things a man can have. A man with direction does not orbit around a woman's uncertainty. He has things to build. He has a body to strengthen. He has money to earn. He has skills to sharpen. He has faith to deepen. He has standards to protect. He has a future that does not pause because one person became unclear. That is real masculine power. Not forcing her to miss you, not making her regret, not playing games, becoming the man who no longer has to beg anyone to see his worth. So tonight, when your mind tells you to check if she feels it yet, do not check. When your ego wants proof that she misses you, do not search for proof. When your heart wants to send one small message, do not send from panic. When loneliness tells you to reopen a door that hurt you, breathe. Put the phone down, stand up. Drink water, walk, train, pray, work that sleep. Bill, do one thing that makes tomorrow better. Because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak, you can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she did not expect, not the man who begged. Not the man who folded, not the man who kept checking after every moment of distance, the man who hurt but stayed composed, the man who cared but did not abandon himself, the man who wanted her but did not make her return the measure of his worth. The man who turned silence into strength, pain into standards, and absence into direction. That man is hard to manipulate. That man is hard to replace. That man is free. So remember this. She did not expect you to stay silent this long. But the silence is not powerful because it hurts her. It is powerful because it heals you. It breaks the old certainty she had about your access. It breaks the old pattern where you chased every time she pulled away. It breaks the version of you that needed her reply to feel like a man. It breaks the habit of abandoning yourself for someone who could not choose you clearly. And if she comes back, you do not rush. You do not punish. You do not collapse. You listen. You observe. You let actions prove what words cannot. If she never comes back, you keep walking. Because the deepest truth is this: the goal is not to make her suffer from your silence. The goal is to become so grounded that her silence can no longer make you suffer the same way. And in the next video, you will learn the exact signs your silence became real power and how to handle her return without giving away the strength you worked so hard to rebuild.